Again, if women have a problem with the things that create a patriarchy, which is assertion, aggression, ambition, then why is it that women continue to give those men who are most assertive, most aggressive, and most ambitious the most sex and the most children? If women did not want those factors, they'd stop sleeping with those men, but they don't stop sleeping with those men.
Okay,
the reason why I want to do Scott Galloway is because Scott Galloway is a Democrat, because he doesn't agree with us politically and has still come to the same conclusions we have. That's why I think this is so, this video is so powerful to me.
Woman can go out with a guy, a high status male. She can have sex with him, which gives her the impression that's her weight class for a relationship, but he's not interested in a relationship. And then she basically decides the bottom 90 are no longer in her weight class. And you can't tell a woman to lower her expectations, but the reality is, and what the data I've seen on dating apps, is that all of the women want the same few guys, and they shut out the rest.
Yeah, okay, so there's a few things I'll respond to there. So one, going back to the income graph, I wanna just call out that yes, right now in a few urban markets, women are making more than men. So women in DC and New York, under 30 are making more than men on average, but in most situations, men are still making more than women, but we're talking about a projection. Going back to the dating research. So yes, it's exactly as you described. What we have right now is there's fewer and fewer men that are hypergamous mates for women. So if there's a much smaller pool of guys, then what you have is you have a bunch of women competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys get ignored. But what I also see is that those top guys are having a hard time deciding. So I feel like in my coaching practice as a dating coach, I'm working with a lot of women who say, what do I do? I've changed my profile the way you said I should. I took your class, but I still feel like there's just not enough great guys. And then I work with these CEO men who are having such a hard time choosing. And so I think we really have this exacerbated problem where so many women are competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys are getting ignored. And then what ends up happening is, where do those guys go? And they go online. That's what you see. Or they go to Reddit. They're really going to some of these red-pilled communities. And so what you're seeing now is just men really opting out of society. So when you go back to that stat, 1 in 7 young men in the UK is NEET, not an employment, education, or training. They have just opted out.
So when I heard that, the first thing I thought is, I have a clip where I literally say those exact same words, and I thought to myself, is Scott Galloway watching my show? Because that's exactly how I said it. It's like, because a woman f***s a 10, she thinks that she can date a 9.
Yeah, but when he says it, he's not radicalizing incels to go out and murder people.
The reason why that was so powerful to me is because Scott Galloway probably disagrees with us on almost everything else and still came to this conclusion that I've been saying before, while these other people keep telling us that there is no crisis in dating. I'm going to listen to Professor Galloway, and I'm going to listen to Richard Reeves. I'm going to listen to those people. I'm going to listen to Dr. Buss. I'm going to listen to William Costello. I'm going to listen to those guys, rather than I'm going to listen to people trying to tell me that that's not what's going on.
Do you think it pushes the other guys, though, to better themselves and kind of look at
some of them, if they feel like they have a chance? But if they listen to Wheat Waffles or any of these other black pillars, they're being told they have no chance. If you're not physically good looking or reach a certain standpoint, you should just give up or just move to another country.
It's self-defeating. It's nihilism.
Now, is that conditioning?
No, it's his ability to provide.
What do you mean conditioning? What does that mean?
Are women conditioned to be that way?
No, what my point is, if it's in every society, if we're talking about the Yanomamo tribe in Venezuela, and we're talking about people in Iceland, those two groups of people have nothing. You can't have conditioning. You understand? If we're talking about an ancestral tribe that has no magazines, radio, or television, then it has to be genetic. There are 3 massive dimorphic differences between men and women. The biggest one of all is men's desire for sexual variety is like an average man puts him in the top 1% of women. The wildest porn star still, like, her level for sexual variety is about the same as a median man. And that's evolution. If every society is like that, is that culture? Is that patriarchy?
Genetics.
Oh, it's genetics. And that, guys, thank you. We don't even have to do the show anymore. The whole point of the show is that this idea for westernized beauty standards or gender roles, this idea that it's created through patriarchy or social construction, is utter and complete nonsense. And there is data that clearly shows this. And if there are gender roles, please don't take this the wrong way, but if there are gender roles, and there are obviously gender roles between men and women, they're not enforced by men. We don't give a fuck. They're enforced by women, because it's men competing with other men to impress women. Again, if women have a problem with the things that create a patriarchy, which is assertion, aggression, ambition, then why is it that women continue to give those men who are most assertive, most aggressive, and most ambitious the most sex and the most children. If women did not want those factors, they'd stop sleeping with those men, but they don't stop sleeping with those men. And so because of that, if I'm a man and I'm objectively looking at the world and I see the nice guy who listens to Justin Baldoni and he's like, expresses his feelings to women, and then I see this other guy over here who's like f***ing ripped, rich, and dangerous, and he runs his own company and he like leads from the front, and this guy gets the hotter girl, eventually over time, societally and genetically, I'm going to be more ambitious, assertive, and aggressive because those are the men who are rewarded with sex. Got it? That's it. Sorry, I don't want to go into a diatribe here, but my whole point is when we talk about this idea of cultural norms versus genetics, we don't give genetics anywhere near as much credit as we need to. I know a lot of women, I have a lot of women who are friends, and I've never met a single one who can bench press more than me. Not one. There's a reason, because evolutionarily, as men, our upper body strength was a survival mechanism for us, and for women, being better caretakers of children and women gestating children 100% of the time. Sorry, we just got canceled.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's women who gestate children. Sorry, I got in trouble there. When that happens, genetically, we can understand these things come from our ancestry. It doesn't mean it's wrong or right. If one of you guys told me, like with Sarah, I don't sit there and say, Sarah, you make more money than your husband. How dare you? I don't care. I'm an oncologist who studies cancer. I'm not sitting, like, I don't condone cancer. I'm not telling you that you're wrong. And whenever I meet a guy who's like, yeah, I started dating this female star and we've been together for 10 years and my relationship worked out, I'm be like, hey man, good job, bro. You broke the, good job for you. Like that worked out. You cracked the code. Like, good job, man. We don't have a problem. We don't even have an opinion about it. We're just here trying to describe the playing field that everybody is competing on.
The problem is guys don't know how to portray themselves on social media. So even if you level up, you get the money, you get ripped. Most guys don't know how to portray that on social media in a
because they're incongruent.
Way. Exactly.
Yes. In their headspace, they're incongruent with what they're. You can take a guy and you can make him as jacked as a bodybuilder, and
right.
you could make him as attractive, like physically attractive as possible. You can give him hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if that guy you can even teach him like routines in game. Like you can teach him how to like say the right words and everything like that. But if that guy in his headspace, it feels like an act to him. He's going to be incongruent and he's going to screw it up every single time. You've got to change your mind about yourself. That's what they don't talk about. That's what these people don't talk about. And this is what pisses me the off is what every time we've been talking about, like we use the term she says, oh, hypergamy, right? Like I remember a time when I was using the term hypergamy and everybody told me it was fake. Oh, that's not what it's about. You're using the term wrong. When they use it, it's fine. But when me and Mike use it, we're ass hats for saying we're wrong for saying something like that, because we're in the red pill community. We're in the red pill space, right? And even if we're just like sort of red pill ancillary or red pill, on the side kind of thing, we get that association with that. They're not saying anything that I haven't been saying for the last 20 years, but these people want to go and like say that this is some new crisis of dating or new crisis of gender or new crisis of marriage and people coming together, and it's simply not true. Well, we've been talking about this for a long time. They've just been ignoring it.